Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about ways you can save money as a new immigrant in Canada, or maybe in the US or in the UK, wherever you are. These are the ways you save money. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. So you come in as a new immigrant and everything is flashy. You see the cars, you see the credit cards, you see the big houses that you can rent, and everything is just doing live in me. Catch me. You enter Walmart, they tell you, oh, collect this credit card. You enter Canadian Tire, collect this credit card. Like, credit cards are in your faces. You know, the restaurants are flashy, the food, holiday is calling you because now you have 10 years US visa from Canada. It's a flashy lifestyle. But one line I will start with, which I also mentioned on my Instagram, is don't get too used to what is comfortable that you forget what is possible. Now, I live in Ontario, Canada, and the slogan for Toronto, or maybe Ontario, is yours to discover. That tells me that there is something worth discovering, but there is a system in place that is almost like everybody's trajectory. Let me say 90% of people who don't have an idea, and I'm not saying that, oh, I know everything now. Thanks to people who, you know, will come and talk to me and my husband about like their own experiences, and we are wise enough to quickly glean from it and see that, if they did it that way and it's yielding results, there is no need like rambling and stuff like that. But anyway, the whole system is held to make you comfortable, but not necessarily financially free. Comfortable in the sense that, case in point, regular scenario, you have a job. After your salary comes, you pay your rent, you pay your car if you have a car, and then you get some food. You have a credit card that supports your salary in case it's not enough. And then when this next salary comes, it's just a cycle. It's hard to save. God bless you that exactly how much you make is exactly how much you spend. Then you literally are stuck, hoping that, you know, one day you get a bonus from work, or hoping that they promote you and stuff like that. It is ridiculous. Now, not as ridiculous as the tax that you pay. Bruh. Can we talk about the tax, or we should not talk about the tax? Because you hear people saying, oh, I earn a 6-figure salary, yada, yada, yada. And then at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, you're hearing how much they're being charged in taxes. Like, why are you bothering to even pay me? Why do you even bother at this point to pay me the money? Taxes are ridiculous. So at the end of the day, that tells me that if you know what you're doing, you have to be aware that if I can't increase my income, pending when I get that job, then I need to curb my expenses. And that's the first thing I'm going to start with today, your expenses. I know that, like I said, everything is flashy. You want to live in a nice house. Sis, bro, you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with basement. People come into this country and they get a job and they're already going to get a house that is ridiculously priced, and you're paying another person's mortgage. If you have plans to set yourself financially free, the first thing you can do for yourself is buy your own first home. That is the first thing. And again, I've done a video here about how it is so like easy if you have a paid employment. Easy in the sense of getting a mortgage. The down payment is what people struggle with, honestly. But I'm talking 5% on 500,000 and then 10% on whatever it is that is left of the house price. Like, but you see people who have been in this country for years, but just because, and don't get me wrong, I understand that people are struggling in that the income is not enough, but people need to open their eyes to what they're actually spending. I made a video last year talking about me and my family spending $6,000 a month, and that was before my son was even born. It was just me, my husband, and my daughter. And guys, there was so much controversy on that video because people kept saying, oh, it's not possible and stuff. But guess what? There was also so much light in that people didn't realize that they were spending as much money because they didn't put pen to paper. It was just, oh, this one comes, yeah, swipe your credit card. Oh, yeah, swipe your credit card. Even if it's on transportation, okay, yes, it's cheap. Public transport is cheap. But the more you swipe, every $3 counts, every $5 counts in a country like this. So what is your expenses saying? Some people eat out like no man business. Like, why are you always eating out? Why? There's food at home, there's rice at home. Like, if you're always eating out because you have credit card, you're too comfortable. So it is time for you to actually write a list of your expenses. That's like, I'm on still this first point of expenses that need to be curbed. Write a list of your expenses so you know for sure what you're spending. If you see, some people will be shocked to realize that their expenses are even much more than their income. Minus credit card. Don't add your credit card. If whatever you spend is much more than how much you earn after taxes, then you're ridiculous. And your expense sheet must also have a space for saving. Everything must still accommodate saving. Because then, even if it's a 4-year plan, even if it's a 6-year plan, you know that eventually this money will add up, right? So curb your expense. Now, while I'm here, I also want to talk about develop yourself. Some people are too comfortable in jobs that are not doing it for them anymore. You've been in this country for what, years, and people have, oh, this is what is selling now. Everybody is doing BA, everybody is doing Texas, UI, UX is selling. But instead of just going through that rough time to change, like accommodate and embrace the discomfort in change so that you can propel yourself towards a higher income. No, you're too comfortable with what you're earning. Even that in itself is a problem. So don't be comfortable. Look at what is out there. I know that, in the Nigerian community, a lot of people hold information, but I don't think it is also far-fetched to know the industries that are doing well per time. If you're trying to create a career or whatever, even within that your industry, you can switch organizations to one that will pay you better. Trust me, I've seen firsthand how people are so comfortable with jobs in this country, and I don't blame them for the most part, because applying to a new job is insanely stressful. Trying to get a job is insane in this country because you're just applying, you're applying. One time when we were doing our mortgage, somebody had told us that if only I had a paid employment, maybe we could drop a lesser amount based on how much we were dropping. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I should try to get a job, even if it's 3 months, to just do this mortgage and get it over with. I applied like 10 jobs in 1 week. Nobody called me back, and I stopped. Like I stopped my LinkedIn, unsubscribed from everything. I'm like, what? No, this is torture. Like I had to go and hug my husband to say, babe, kudos to you. You're doing well for all the times that you were job hunting in this country. And I remember I'll be telling him that, babe, I've applied to them, and he would look at me like I've applied to like 30 companies. One of my friends said, oh, it's one of 40. Like you apply to 40 and one will call you back. I'm just like, that has to be ridiculous. So I understand how, I digress, but I understand how it might be a burden for you to feel like, I don't want to change or whatever. But think about the security. You literally have nothing to lose. All you have to give is like maybe an extra hour per day to just send out the recruitment. You never know. The Bible says, cast your bread upon many waters. You never know where it will land, right? Some people will say, oh, it's nursing that is doing this, it's PSW. And that takes me to my next point of also make your research. Some things are so flashy. In fact, one person told us one time, one of my father-in-law's proteges in this country, who, advised us so wonderfully well, told us that when they came to Canada about 18-20 years ago, people would tell them, oh, is this nursing? Everybody's doing nursing. No. They'll be saving money small for their children, RESP. I even had to ask, I'm like, oh, we're doing RSP for our kids. We're saving, college funds. Are you saying that's not good? She was like, no, that's great. Only that it won't give you the financial freedom you need. Like, there has to be something more. Like, our husband had worked in, and I can share this because he also shares it publicly, and obviously he's anonymous to this channel. But he had worked and become a director. And she said at the end of the day, his wife, that is, will now come and say, is this it? Like, is this it? When they have removed tax from this. And then at the end of the day, they had to pivot. The wife stayed in paid employment just because of the perks of mortgage and stuff. But he, from being a director, he said that the car he drives, they would monetize it. Like the cost of the car the company gave him, they will monetize it and still deduct it from his take-home salary. I'm like, which kind of way? So at the end of the day, now they're into real estate. From buying their first home to finding investors to getting a real estate license. That might be something. Takes me to side hustle. Honestly, I'm just saying these things as it is in my spirit and as I'm passionate about it. Takes me to side hustle. Don't be also too comfortable. Okay, even if you can't find a job that is better in payment, you cannot, if you see that your expense is not expensing, it's not helping you, you can't actually save anything, maybe you're even in debt and your credit card is what is doing it for you, then it's time to add something to what you're doing. I'm going to make a video about, God help me, about like side hustles that you can do in North America, in the diaspora, that are like seamless and will still get you well paid. But guys, like, I have friends that do handwork. I know people who are making so much money than people who sit behind a desk, just because they're cooking, they're braiding, they're making hair, they're doing virtual assistants, nannying, so many things that you can do, in your free time. I was talking to one of my friends, and she was talking about buying a property and taking a second job. And I said, you better take that second job now. By the time you become a wife and a mom, you're limited. So there are a lot of single people too who are just like comfortable in one job. You're awake in the night watching Netflix in North America. I'm getting too passionate, like I'm yours, mom. I'm sorry. That's how I am. But honestly, this is just the way it is for me, because I want as many people like me, where we come from, to have that freedom that they don't want us to have in this part of the world. So, back to my next point. Take on the side also if you can. It might start small. The foundation is not always as glamorous as the finished house. It might look small to you right now, but with patience and perseverance and whatever it is you can do one day at a time, that money might just be paying off maybe your car. But guess what? You're now able to save the car money towards something, So yeah, there's that. And also, one thing that people also don't realize or don't know a lot about is how much help you can get from the government when you relocate. I'm talking Canada now. I honestly don't know about it. As far as UK, I only use the NHS as the free thing when one time I was sick, right? So I'm talking Canada. But there's so many things you can get. Now, case in point, we relocated. Our friends relocated. On paper, they say fill a form for how much the government will be paying your kids. Because if you don't know, in Canada, the government helps with cost of living for your children, right? So they're like, fill a form. And based on the first year of relocation, you're supposed to fill a form on how much you earned the last year. Now, for us, we're earning in Naira. So we just did a direct conversion. And by the time we came, the interest rate was already seeming ridiculous, right? And what me and my husband did was just I had a 95 before I left Nigeria. He had a 95 before we left Nigeria. So we just took that income and divided it and put it. Another of our friends, the husband was a businessman. Best believe that this person puts their revenue, that is not even profit, like revenue, not profit. Long story short, we got subsidy for our kids in our first year here, for like how much the government will pay to them every month, just to help with standard of living, because it's always based on your last income. And for the amount we declared, when you convert, even if we're earning 1 million each, even if of which we're not, but I'm just saying, even if we're earning 1 million each in Nigeria, by the time you convert it, it still falls under the bracket of the people the government would subsidize and give child tax benefits, is what they call it too. But these other people, they didn't give them. They were just like, oh, you were making this much money? Peace. So people don't have that information. And I know that there are people who also lie. That's also like something that I would not subscribe to. There's no point. Like, why? But declare what you're declaring, but declare it with wisdom, in terms of, you don't have to say, oh, maybe the value of my house in Nigeria, let me even put it on the paper so they will know that I was doing well. You're not trying to prove anything. Because no matter how little, if that money was buying diaper, we were saving the money that could have been buying diaper. I hope that makes sense. So, subsidy came to subsidy. And when my son was born as well, as a two-member family, even though we had now worked for 1 year and they were using the previous year, it helps because I am also a business owner. My husband is the only one that has a paid employment. So our family income still didn't fall under the brackets where they will say, oh, now we can't help you anymore. Government was still, sending, no matter how little, guys, to our kids, which was doing something. I'm not saying that it's on top of that you will buy a house, but I'm telling you that these little drops make a mighty ocean. Also, even look around. One time, I remember my sister just relocated to Canada. I haven't spoken about it. I'm looking to vlog it if I go visit her. One time, I was just reading something, and I saw something about like climate change funds for Kinikon. And I applied for it, and I was on the phone with her that day, and I'm like, why did this $500 come into my account? And she was just like, which one? She was hustling me, tell me. And I'm like, I don't know, I just saw something randomly and applied for it. And they gave me the money. Like, so also look around, like always keep yourself abreast. Shout out to my friend Joy. She lives in Ottawa, and I remember we went on Instagram when I came. She was so valuable to me that she was sending me everything sendable about like what's it called, Canada living, what the government can do for my daughter or whatever. There was one time that randomly there was this payment of $150. I said, I'll take it. Do I qualify for it? I'll take it. Now, hear me. When I came to Canada, I didn't even know I was going to get pregnant. So I got pregnant and I was like just doing my YouTube, and brand influencing was now picking up for me. It was just like once I relocated to North America, my brand influencing game just changed. Like, all glory to God. But I digress. So I was minding my business, and I remember before I left Nigeria, someone I know, we're just talking randomly, and and that's the be putting your ears down for information. And she's talked about how no, she doesn't regret relocating to Canada. That in fact, before she got a job, the government was paying her for learning a skill. I'm just like, bruh, fill me in. And she told me how like there is this course, like employment program for youth. She did it. I'm just telling you, I noted it. And then when I got here, and I'm just like, okay, wait, I'm about to go into brand influencing full time. I need to learn how that's done in this part of the world. I reached out to her again to say, babe, please, what was that agency you said? I googled them. Happens that one were even they were like limited, and you needed to have like a business proper you were already doing. But I didn't apply to that. I applied to that, but I didn't get into that. However, from there, they referred me to the one I eventually did, which was like a 6 months MBA program. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm always pushing it there. Like, I want everybody to leverage it as much as possible. So between, I think I ended it in September, so count 6 months backward. I don't know, it worked out well because that was the time that I even fell pregnant. I remember on our graduation day, I was showing them I've been pregnant all along, and everybody was just like, oh my goodness, you're a strong woman. And it doesn't demand so much from you. Let me just say, it is not like I was working and stuff. You guys know how Zoom meetings are. I think now someone on my Insta who did it said they now have to come in once a week or something like that. But at least by the time I did it, it was all virtual. At some point, you were not meeting every day. You were just meeting once a week. There were so many people in the course that were doing it with their jobs, you know. Just put your ears down for information. And they were paying me, I think, about 1.4 or 1.8 per month. Bruh. Just to be learning how to do brand influencing. I'll take it. So it was like a compressed MBA. They will have people come teach us and stuff like that. And at the end of the course, you had to do a whole business plan on the, business you want to do and stuff like that. So for me, like, that's another way I was able to take advantage of something the government was doing, and so many ways that you just hear this and hear that. Now, 1.8 in 6 months is not what we used to buy house, but it has saved us from spending the money we used to buy house, if that makes sense. As in, you guys will get the picture I'm trying to paint. So that's that. Channel yourself and hear out how government can help you once you come in as a new immigrant. Except, of course, you're a baller and you don't even need this video in the first place. There's that. Now, last thing I'm going to talk about is rent. I know that I touched on it a little bit, but apart from even the fact that, everything is doing catch me, you want to live in downtown Toronto, ask yourself today, why do you want to live in downtown Toronto? If you don't have a job keeping you in downtown Toronto, then move. Move to Ottawa, move to London. Move. Don't stay 1 hour close. Move 4 hours away. Go and pay like 1-2 per month instead of paying 2K per month. That $800 per month saving will do something for you. Great for you if you even work from home. I feel like I've touched on so many things, but that's how passionate I get when I'm trying to help people. I guess this name Solutions is divinely inspired after all. But yeah, like, do what you gotta do, man. Do what you gotta do. Take extra jobs if you can. And let me tell you all of this. The reason is, don't forget, you're trying to break free from a system that makes you comfortable. Because at the end of this video, let me paint the scenario for you, of which that person I said advised me told me. It was like, a lot of people, when they have worked until retirement age, all they have is their first home. Imagine working for 40 years and somewhere along the line you buy your first home. So before your retirement, you've been able to repay your mortgage, because it was amortized for 25 years, right? And then you leave and all you have is a house to your name. You downsize, which is what most people do. They sell that house off, they get the difference on it. Maybe it has appreciated by 150k or 200k. They get it, and that's all they have between the ages of 60, 65 till they see Jesus, and they're just managing themselves and whatever it is that you have done with your RESP or whatever. But I'm not talking about that. I mean, that's comfortable. Don't get me wrong. That's very comfortable. Because that's the trajectory. If right now you're still boiling, maybe I'll buy a house in after 10 years. That's your trajectory, really. That's why you see people walking up onto retirement. And even woe betide, even worse is those that actually don't even now have a house. Nothing to downsize to. Even after they retire in corporate, they will still go and pick up like jobs that are like menial jobs just to get by because no retirement plan. How can you cope that? You buy your first home as soon as you can because you can. Or if you can't, you make a conscious effort to make sure that the first home is priority for you. It is actually priority because after that is when you can now start looking at investment in this land to say, okay, I want to invest in this and that. Your trajectory is by the time people are downsizing, you probably have like other properties to your name that other people have paid up equity for you. And that's one thing, like real estate, I don't know about stocks, honestly, but even biblically speaking, is land, property. And Abraham settled in Goshen, and God increased him and gave him property. It's property that you use to actually get that financial freedom that you require. And I hope this video has helped you. I think I hear my son crying, but please make hay while the sun shines. Lord, our combined strength. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Whenever your heart is broken.